Hello, hello. This is Tyson Farmer from TysonFarmer.com with episode number 8. Ow! Son of a... Okay, my new favorite random song picker, Chozic.com. Random songs picker. And today, let's go to the 40s. All right, now the way I figure this is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be dead simple or it's going to be like really complicated. Because in the 40s, you're heavy into the jazz era. So it's either jazz influenced or blues influenced, in which case it's going to be relatively easy. Those weren't the only two genres, but those were the two monsters of the era. All right, let's see what we got. Mad About the Boy.
Mad about the boy. I know it's stupid to be mad about the boy. I'm so ashamed of it, but must admit the sleepless nights.
So it looks like we have the latter of the two. This is definitely jazz based. Let's go ahead and start this over again. I'll circle back around to that intro.
Mad about the boy.
I'm hearing a minor 7 flat 5 there.
I know it's stupid.
It's some kind of 7 chord. This is setting up a minor 2-5. Right, this is kind of jazz speak. I'll get into a little more detail about that later. Let me double check my work.
Mad about the boy. I know it's stupid to be mad about the boy.
Yep, minor 2-5.
I'm so ashamed of it, but must admit.
And there's the 1. All right, let me kind of describe what's going on here. Your normal harmonized major scale, you're going to have major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, and then closing the loop with the major here. Notice the 6th scale degree here, right? That's your relative minor, and that's what the minor key is based on. So since this song is in minor, we're going to base this on the minor, but it's actually in the key of G minor. So we're going to be borrowing from this key right here. Notice G minor in the relative minor position of 6. We're essentially building this out of a B flat major scale, right? Now notice, if I were to say a diminished chord, that would be the 7th scale degree. If this is 1, then this would become 2. So let's reshuffle this. Now I'm going to find G minor here. Now it's reshuffled, same chords, just different numbering. Now G minor's 1, right? So now my 2 is the diminished, right? And a 5 in this case would be a D minor. In the jazz world, we're going to change the D to a major and add a 7 on the end and, jazzify it up with some altered notes and so forth. So what you're going to be seeing is a D7 flat 9, but let's just call it a D7 for right now. Right now, that's with standard minors. Let's actually make things more interesting by bringing the harmonized minor 7 scale into the mix. Add 7s onto everything, and look what we have. G minor. It's an A, what's called a half diminished 7, otherwise known as a minor 7 flat 5. I'll be gridding this stuff out. Then we're going to have a D7 in this case. Ignore the minor. We're doctoring things up to jazzify it, and then a G minor 7. That's what I've got here. A minor 7 flat 5. Mad about the boy. And then in this case, there's a D7. I'm kind of jazzifying it into a flat 9. D7 flat 9. Mad about the boy. And I need a 2, 5. And then it moves to a G minor 7. Right? this is my next challenge.
But must admit I'm so ashamed of it, but must admit.
And I think that's the same chord. Okay, in this case, instead of a minor 7 flat 5, looks like we got an A7, which is a secondary dominant to that D7, which is the dominant of the 1. So let's see how we got.
I'm so ashamed of it, but must admit the sleepless nights I've had about the boy.
There's your 5 turnaround.
About the boy.
Actually, D9, D7 flat 9. Okay, coming together. This is a really nice, tasty jazz song. It's got that kind of dark, spooky minor going on. Let's do some charting. Okay, so we'll explore those chords a little bit later. I'm going to add some chord grids in there for the guitarists. I'm going to give you the real deal, so you can play the actual hip jazz chords. All right, so this brings us to an interesting part. Did they write it? Well, we're kind of in a different era here. Things don't work the same way back in the 40s. So I'm going to go with the zeitgeist of the times and say Helen Forrest was the presenter. She probably did not write it. So I'm going to guess it was some dude. Some dude wrote this that you probably have never heard of. I've never really even heard of Helen Forrest. She's not up there with the greats that are famous in our times, like Etta James and things like that. Okay, so let's find out. Man About the Boy Song Wiki. There we go. Written by actor and playwright Noel Coward. Oh, okay. Interesting. English playwright, composer, director, actor, and singer. A lot of old jazz standards are also from old musicals. Popular song introduced in the 1932 review Words and Music. Yeah, okay, so it's part of a play, basically. Okay. All right, let's look at these chords here. I'm going to go ahead and show you the chord grids. Okay, so these are all the chord grids for the jazz chords here. Keep in mind that these chords are not for the faint of heart. You'll see there's some pretty funky fingerings here. Notice things like this. I've got just enough double jointedness to work with, and my fat fingers work well with these kind of half bars. I do it like this, right? But you could do it like that. Boom, 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 boom. Right? In which case, this would become that. In any case, the killer about these, as you'll find, is the selective muting. Look at all those X's. Lots of selective muting. In this case, that's the third finger all the way across there. That'll look like this. Right? Jazz chords. Yay. Instead of verse and chorus, you'll notice I used an A section. In anticipation, this is the way a lot of jazz works. You're usually going to have an A section and a B section. This is a form of yesteryear, right? So let's hear. I'm assuming they're going to repeat this part again for another A. There it is again.
Melts my foolish heart
A minor 7 flat 5, D7 flat 9, and then the G minor 7, A7 D's.
About the boy. Though I'm quite aware that here and there are traces of the cat about the boy.
Oh, that was pretty simple. Okay, so I'm going to do a second ending here. Interesting little spot here. As I heard she was singing, are traces of the cat about the boy. For a second I thought she said the cat about the boy, and then I realized, wait a minute, this is the 1940s. The cad, C-A-D, I think that means, I think that's a gigolo.
Here's how it's gonna be, see? You're just a cad, stay away from her, or I'll give you a little chin music.
Cad, 40s slang. A mean, vulgar, ill-bred fellow of whatever social rank, a term of great contempt. Okay, so he's kind of a bad boy.
About the boy.
All right. Little music history.
God knows I'm not a fool, girl. Lord knows I'm not a fool, girl.
Ah, interesting. The 1, 5 of 5 and 5. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's a minor. So G minor, A7, D minor 7. Maybe I'm just a straight minor. Alright, so that's an F minor 7. It's a 4, 5, 1 in C minor. Interesting.
Lord knows I'm not a schoolgirl.
And there's your 4, 5, 1. Interesting. 4, 5, 1's more of a pop era kind of thing. But so it doesn't show up quite as often. It shows up, but it doesn't quite show up as often in the jazz era. The 4-5-1 of the jazz era is 2-5-1, but this one's kind of interesting is in that it's got a 4-5-1, and then this becomes the 4 of the next cycle, bringing us back around to the G minor, bringing us all the way back home, even though we changed keys. That's the jazz way. Cycling through a bunch of keys and, you know, till you don't know what key you're in, and then suddenly you're back home in the original key. All right, so 4, 5, 1, then 4, 5, 1. Let's see what she does next.
In the flurry.
That's a 5. Alright, so 1, 5, 5 of 5, 5. Alright. Lord knows I'm not a schoolgirl, but you fell for the cad. You fell for the mean, vulgar, ill-bred fellow of whatever social rank. Yeah, you fell in love with the bad boy, Helen.
I know he's a mean, vulgar, ill-bred fellow of whatever social rank, but I love him.
I think the word you're looking for is cad.
Oh, yeah.
Quite insane and young again, and all because I'm mad about the boy.
I'll work on that outro in a second. But look at this. A first ending, A second ending, then it does this B section, it comes back to the A. Sound familiar? A-A-B-A. Nothing's changed. A-A-B-A, the most common form ever known in the music world. That's why I keep coming back to it and illustrate it when it happens. I'll let you know when I see a form that's not AABA because it's gonna be conspicuous. All right, let's do some charting. Okay, this is a really cool ending here. We're bringing this whole chord down a half step with the G pedal note. See it? G, G, G on the bass, right? And it's going to have this effect. Right? Sort of descending sad chord going down an A flat. Then we just own the A flat with an A flat 7 tritone sub there, if you guys know what that's all about. But here's the money chord right there, G minor 6. This is the minor of despair. All is lost. All right, that's such a colorful chord. All right, that's a wrap on needle drop number 8. Things are starting to get interesting. Finally, some chords I can sink my teeth into. The link to this will be below for the charts. Looking forward to needle drop number 9. We're going to be looking at the 1950s next. So we'll see. We might get some early rock and roll, some holdover jazz by then. We'll explore that as it comes. Till then, keep playing and stay self-motivated. Episode number 8. Ow! Son of a big stupid poopy pants! HE double hockey sticks!
You're nothing but a cad, I tell you.
Yeah, no shit.